Okay, with this one being that we're only about like a week away from Halloween, I'm going to be discussing some interesting stuff on some horror movies. And we're going to go back to some like the early ones and explain how some of the couple different serial killers actually influenced them and how they actually came about. One thing that's going to be interesting is you're going to find out that when we look at these some of these movies with it, we're going to say that basically we look at pre 1920s, and we see that basically most of them are either dramas or based off dramas, or they basically were shorts, and they were not really full films to begin with. So we're not really going to consider. We're only going to consider what we consider as full out films. Now, when we consider to be going into this, we're going to consider like the actual horror films themselves with it as full out films. And when we start to get into this, we're going to start to gather some of the ones that are actually quite interesting. Now, first of all, with it is we're going to go to one of them, which is M, which is from 1931, and that's one that's actually goes into one that's actually based on. That's actually one that's said to be based on Peter Curtin, with what people believe is, and this is a German one with it starring Peter Lorre. Now that this is one where people think that it's where it's most likely based off him, based on what the a lot of critics have stated, and this is a full feature one with it's 111 minutes from 1931, and obviously it's based on basically a serial murderer that basically went after children. It involves a lot of different topics. Actually, uh, would have been made within that era with it was were like 1920 Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That was really in most cases a monster film. Nosferatu in 1922. This was a monster. This was the pretty much the earliest Dracula film or vampire film. Um, you find 23 Hunchback of Notre Dame. Most people consider that to be a horror film as well. Horror films were pre 1960, where they were the bulk of them, to up to 1980. We were probably seeing